let's get this started. How does it feel, brother, to be in Oklahoma City and be around all these great fans?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people here are really nice. It's different. I'm from New York City, so the city is a little bit rough at the edges, but everybody's pretty cool here.
Awesome.
Are we nicer than New York?
She said, are they nicer than New York?
Usually, places like this are going to be nicer. There's more space to de-stress. New York, everybody's on top of this, millions of people hustling there.
Yeah. It's a very busy city.
Yeah, my first question here is I just wanted to know if you could speak on your martial arts journey before the film and after.
Okay. So my father's Italian, my mother's black, and we grew up. Me and my brother and my two sisters, we grew up in New York City. And my father was kind of picked on. He was a singer, good-looking guy. He was picked on in the neighborhood. So when he was getting into martial arts, but he didn't go all the way. So he had me and my brother get into it a little bit. And my brother didn't stick with him, but he stuck with me. And I started with karate. But then I stopped. We moved out to Europe, and then when we came back, I was around 13, 14, and I started again. I went from Aikido to Taekwondo, and then when I was competing, I competed in Taekwondo a lot. And when I was in Europe, I took on soccer with everybody outside of America. We call it football, So we played football every day, every second of the day. So by the time I was in the Taekwondo competition, I would kick really hard, and harder than I knew. So I would get disqualified a lot in Taekwondo. And yeah, he knows. You know about that. So then I started training in kickboxing and Chinese Goju, which is a mixed style. I enjoyed the whole thing because of being a fan of Bruce Lee. And it was a spark. And my stepfather, who was my mother's first husband, was a big boxing coach. So I got into that, but I was really into martial arts. I'm sorry, Les. I had some bad injuries years ago. I'm recovering now, but I was training jiu-jitsu with Marcelo Garcia, who was a world-renowned jiu-jitsu player. So I'm a purple belt.
Awesome. Now that we're all aging, is there martial arts that, like something I could get into, help you be more meditative, but not necessarily spar like I did when I was younger, or get hurt like I did when I was younger?
Yeah, I mean, at any age, right? Sparring, it's like you pick certain things, sports and activities that are prone to injuries, and if you're sparring, you just choose your sparring partners.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going out with friends to a club, right? I don't hang out with those people.
Right.
So when you're gonna say so if you're gonna choose sparring partners, choose guys that know how to flow with you, move with you, and just common sense stuff.
That sounds good. Yeah, just make sure I avoid those 20-year-old.
But I would do things that complement what you're looking for. If you're looking for more agility, then you do things like Tai Chi and yoga. But Tai Chi, you do things like more soft style, Kung Fu. If you're looking for more to create some groundedness, you do like Shotokan karate, which is straightforward, straight back, strong styles, strong movements. It depends, if you like being on the ground all day and wrestling type of stuff, then obviously things like sambo or jiu-jitsu.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good questions.
Yeah, sure enough, Plus is here.
All right, for the deep cut, looking at the cast list of Into the Fist and the Cobra, please. What was that? I mean, there's Andy Tran,
That's an independent
Bill
film.
Cole.
Yeah, that's independent from these guys that I knew. They wanted to just throw in everybody. So
Everybody.
all kinds of crazy characters. Yeah.
Who all did you get to work with? Who were you excited to work with? There's a lot of names in that.
Yeah, I did a short fight scene with Goldberg, the wrestler.
Yeah, no go.
Yeah, Bill. And he was fun. He goes, Taimak, kick me right here, kick me right here. I said, no, this isn't wrestling. He goes, no. I said, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. No, it was great. It was fun.
Did you kick him?
No. It's weird. It's weird because sometimes big guys, it's not just big guys, sometimes guys into wrestling, they want to feel things. But yeah, you might know. You may not feel it when you get hit because you'll be knocked out. So I didn't want to kick him in his head.
Another question.
Yeah, sure. And I guess some people, they don't have to on the mic if they got loud voices.
Well, if they want to be able to see themselves later, we've got.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is a horror con. I'm gonna ask you about the Curse of the Last Dragon. What do you think about that?
Curse of the Last Dragon.
Yeah, the Curse of the Last Dragon is kind of popularized just based on the downfalls of some of your great past.
Oh, the ones that passed.
How you escaped?
I don't know. Not one. Well, you know, the promoter and I became friendly, and he wanted me to come out, so it was a great opportunity, you know. Yeah, I was always an athlete, so drugs and stuff like that weren't something that I was into, and you know, everybody may play around, but you gotta be careful with things like that. You're drinking a lot, and it's a certain lifestyle that is prone to getting, you know, ill, or, you know, so unfortunately, you know, cast members, that those things happen. They're all fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, did you have an opportunity to work with like Leo Ryan or Vanity
Afterwards?
After the film?
No. This was a really one. You know, it's funny because Julius, who played Shonuff, at the time he was kind of, which happens very often in Hollywood. Actors get bitter, so he, you know, when I found out about these Comic Cons, I gave him a call because I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have him and the Indian family, you know, Denise, to show up. But both of them gave me like a negative response. He was like, "Nah, man, this Hollywood shit is done." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "This is Spanish." He goes, you know, and unfortunately, he died not too long after. And Denise was like, I was talking about doing, let's say, an award show, you know, coming out to it. And she was like, she got into religion, so she went real hardcore with it. And she was like, I'm not mentioning names, she talked about other actors or singers that were a little flamboyant, you know, showing off their body, whatever. It's just, I'm not going to do anything with them on the stage. Oh boy. I suggest some things looking like it, you know, if you could, yeah. But that, yeah, everybody goes through what they go through in life. I've been through a lot, you know, the injuries. I had to, you know, it was hard to walk for many years, and now I'm healing. So, you know, most people learn when things don't go so well.
Right. Well, bless you.
Yeah. Oh, and I told most of you that The Last Dragon is re-released into theaters in October. AMC theaters, October 19th. Go on the app and go on the app and put reminders so you don't forget. October 19th, nationwide, 4 week. The Last Dragon, re-release. You gotta wait for this guy.
Hello, I'm Dallas, and I've been a fan since I can remember. This 85, I was born in 87, so it was like, it was on some show we recorded off our VHS with my brother, and I watched it. It was just in our house. It was one of the movies, we only had a couple movies, and it was one of them. But yeah, this movie is also with some other John Claude Van Damme and Bruce Lee, but this movie in particular, because it was like a hip hop influence in it, had just kind of like a cool ghetto vibe to it or something like that. That's what got me, anyway, that whole realm got me into boxing, and I got to mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So I guess what I'm getting at is thank you. And with this movie, I rewatched it, and it's kind of almost it's awesome, but it's kind of silly. There's a silly parts in it. I guess my
I
question
guess
is,
every 80s movies was.
yeah, kind of over the top. I guess when you were filming this, did you expect for it to be what it is today and almost this underground cool movie that everybody's talking about, or did you think this was just another movie?
Well, I was a martial arts fanatic, and I used to, it's interesting, the scene that shown up as his first walk-in, and that theater was a theater that I used to go to as a kid, because 42nd Street was a really bad part of New York City, but they had porn movies and martial arts movies, when I was a kid. So I would go in these martial arts movies, and they would be like $3, and you could see 3 martial arts movies back to back, and at that time, this is, when you had the, I don't even think Blockbuster was really big. Or it was, but they didn't have martial arts movies often. So I used to go to this 42nd Street and hang out in that same theater that Sean Up walked in. And I used to watch movies there, It's Disneyland now on 42nd Street. But I lost what you were saying, the question.
Do you think this would be as big as it is?
Oh, yeah. So why I alluded to that was because at the time I was a fanatic, so I knew martial arts films inside out, and this I knew people were going to like. I just, what 19-year-old thinks this far ahead?
Yeah.
Who would know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good question, Rick.
Did you ever see the? I read that scene in the movie theater was inspired by a real trip in the movie theater with the writer.
Oh,
You
yeah,
ever see,
the
like,
writer.
like that, where people are doing kung fu in the middle.
Did I see what?
Where people are doing kung fu in the middle of the aisles.
I saw, you mean, when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Oh man, they were crazy people. They would be once in a blue moon that, but it was, unfortunately, it was, people just don't believe one, So basically, these Shaw Brothers movies were the ones that were kung fu movies that they dubbed. So it was very much, the guy would say, "Chulu, kill him." Don't tell me where I'm going, I'll tell you. It was always like that, right? So the guys smoking like, what? Oh my God, he was, they would have the same guy in the previous movie be like 23, and next thing you know, in the second movie, he had a beard and everything, and he gray and with a kung fu. It was just so bizarre. So there was just more than in the alley doing martial arts. You would hear commentary, just like in the last track. That's where they got that from. So it was always commentary of what's happening on the screen, because this is what he's like, and it's not like, shh, quiet down everybody, you paid a lot for this movie. No. This is a movie you say, sit down, shut up, all that kind of thing. All that kind of thing. It was loud. It's funny. Yeah. And people, it was a little dangerous too. The guys would get really fight each other. It was terrible too. It was dangerous in the 80s.
Oh yeah. Step on up.
2 quick questions. One, is there anybody like you're a fan of, like UFC or boxing, that you watch? And then 2, is there like any favorite boxing martial art movies that you watched or that you watch, like Creed or any of that type of stuff?
It's funny, Michael B. Jordan chased me out of the Equinox gym in Hollywood. He wanted to meet me, I didn't even know who he was. This was about 8, 9 years ago. And then I haven't seen him since. I honestly, the movies I was fanatic were those movies when I was a kid, as far as action movies, like the 5 Deadly Venoms, the ones that a lot of people know about. Lightning Swords of Death, which is Shogun Assassin series, samurai movies, all those 7 Samurais. I loved all those movies. And additionally, most of the American movies as well. But as far as, the UFC, I love it. I used to referee before it became big. And I think it brought some realism to martial arts, because before that there was, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a lot of characters that would claim to be able to knock you out with a finger touch. You never see it didn't work. You had to actually do something more realistic. I trained with some of those guys. Yeah, it's become the modern day gladiator event. Yeah.
Do you have like any favorite fighter?
There's so many. Right now, Ilya Topuria has gotten a lot of publicity. His mindset is really powerful. Because he's been one of those guys that's undefeated, that calls out the fighter he wants to fight, and says he's going to, demolish him in this round, and he does it. And now he's knocked out 3 of the world champions in different weight classes. And now he's trying to go for the other guy. It's like he's on a hunt. But I like his mindset out of all of them. He has a certain way of thinking that it's really like, it would be called living the end now. So he celebrated his last victory the day before with his friends and family. So he celebrated the victory the day before. So that's like, yeah, it's true. It's true. He celebrated the victory before. So when he walks into the ring, you can see he had this real calm about it, because he already won. So that, as far as memories, it's a lot of great fighters. I would like to help some of the Brazilian boxers, because they're not big on boxing in Brazil. They want Muay Thai, and they suffer with the boxing in UFC. Okay.
Who was the fighter?
Ilya Topuria. Yeah.
Yeah, and then last question, promise. I guess, I don't know how back then, but I guess like when you first kind of like came out on the scene, would you do UFC now? Like if you were younger?
Yeah, that's what I kickbox, so that's what would have been happening. Right? That's today it's like jiu-jitsu matches and UFC, but with UFC, they brought some kickbox like Guerrero and others that came from K1. Overseas kickboxing is bigger, yeah, but obviously I ended up, my career went into acting because I was 19 and I got The Last Dragon. I didn't know that was in my future. It was a dream, but I didn't know that it was going to happen.
Good questions.
I have 2 questions. The first question is, what is your favorite line in The Last Dragon? And then the second question is, do you think that The Last Dragon was a good representative of martial arts?
Yeah, definitely a good representative of martial arts, because it showed the difference between someone who's just a great fighter. There's a lot of great fighters that do very, very bad things, and there's martial artists who are great fighters that have the discipline to, calm down and, curb the reptilian brain and know that they don't have to, that's what Bruce Lee was, that was what the whole thing, to teach young people. That's, as funny as it was very good for young people to see that, I'm not necessarily saying that I would let somebody come to my dojo and prank me in front of my students. Yeah, that would be something I would do. But it was trying to let young people know, look, we don't resign to fighting, and we don't resign to violence. Where obviously, showing up, that was what he wanted. I'm a great fighter. I have to prove myself. And Bruce Lee learned that he didn't have to prove himself. You did defend yourself. You didn't have to prove yourself. And the other question was the first question.
Your favorite line in The Last
Oh
Dragon?
man. Come on, I'll answer that question back. There's too many, right? There's too many.
There's so many.
There's too many. That's the problem. That's what was great about the writer. He wrote, that's one of the reasons why you're here, is because everybody tells me, back at my job, I say I'm the master. I tell my wife I'm the master, and she says her line. So there's so many things so many lines that you can use in your life to have fun in your life.
That's
I guess who's the master, gets my commerce. Is Johnny, you had some funny lines on the break? I forgot that. You guys are probably.
That's no cornball. He's
Yeah. It's not, yeah, there's so many that if I think about it. How did you know that was the blue? I did not know that. You did not know. No.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you.
Is it not getting hot in here, Ms. Fox?
kind of that same scale. You have a favorite song from the movie? The movie has such great music.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. Man. That's why you guys are here so many years later. So many, yeah, I mean, guys always tell me when they're in the gym, they like the glow and those kind of things. But I think there's so many. But I always said from these guys, the Chinese guys, Suki Happy Sal. It's something to me. It's like, it's something about that song. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Good question.
Some of the quiet people. Hi. Oh, yeah, there you go.
How you doing, sir?
Great.
Big fan.
Thank you.
Just curious, how did you get noticed and given the part for the movie?
Yeah. I was competing and they didn't have any films like this. Guys of color like me starring as a superhero. So they did have the black exploitation films, but those were kind of violent. And it was not the role models, pimping and all that stuff. It's funny laughing, but it was not good for the environment. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to get this script, and make it into something. So I'm sorry, I lost that. Say what you said again. I didn't get my sequence. I'm sorry.
Basically, how did you get?
Yeah. So what happened was my friends were telling me, man, they want a young guy to play a martial arts hero, and you guys, you got to go up with everybody's going up. So I found out that everybody's going up in this movie. All these guys. It could be like 50 years old, they're still going up for Bruce Lee. And then they had some big advertised audition, but it was really like a promotion, for let people know there's something in the horizon. So I didn't get to go up on that. But my mother knew a dance choreographer that was working on it, and he got me what would be a serious audition, but I never had any experience. And when I got there, it was an office, and it threw me off because I thought it was going to be some room like this, and you come over here and do a concert or something. So I brought my gi and my black belt, and I walked in there with that, all pumped up, and I saw these guys sitting in chairs like this, looked a little like me, and they were like reading a thing, and I felt like a fish out of water, like, oh, I don't know how to do that. What am I going to do? So then the cast director, he came out and he looked right, and he saw me. He goes, oh, "Okay, yeah, you're here for this one." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, grab the sides," and I didn't know what that meant. The sides are scenes from the script, and goes down. I'll call you when you're up. And I said, okay. So when I sat down, I didn't know what the hell the movie was about. I was like, no, what the hell is this? He talked without contractions. I do not wish to fight you. I just didn't understand. I was like Bruce Lee, I just didn't get it. So when I went inside, I did horrible. I mean horrible. I was like a stiff as wood. And he told me, look, you gotta work on it, come back another time. So every one of my friends got me all pumped up. I really thought maybe, because it was a dream that I had for all my life, that I wanted to star in a movie playing like a Bruce Lee character. And I was really upset, when the reality hit. So my father, he had he sold and made these different accessories for women that he'd go out to Miami and when it got cold. So at that time, I think it was cold in New York, and he asked me and my friend at the time to drive down to Florida, to Miami, and he said, "Bring Rich and your friend, and we're gonna go in the next few days." And I said, "Okay." So I called my friend, and he jumped in the van. My friend sat in the middle. I sat in the passenger seat. My father was driving. And I was like a big sourpuss, and I wasn't really talking much. And I had like a droopy face about this whole thing. My father was like, man, what's that? You didn't get the job. Okay, look, you didn't know what you're doing. You got the script. Pull out the script. Let me see this. So I knew he was up to it. He wanted to like coach me on the ride over there. So I was like, oh no. And my friend had no idea that this was going to happen. But basically, my father was abused me. He was like, no, and he whacked the back of my head. Don't you get it? He doesn't talk in contractions. He's naive. He was talking like trying to beat it into me. And I really couldn't get it. So when we got there, he said, all right, take all the stuff out, bring it out back. We're going inside the house where the woman was saying. So I got off the van. My friend looked at me and said, you're right, man. I don't want to do anything with this. I'm done. I don't want to hear about it anymore. He goes, no. He said, Taimak, if there's a God on earth, that rule was written for you. And I went, and it was like a light bulb. And that's when I knew. I was like, wow, yeah. And then we were like cleaning roofs and cracking jokes. My friend was a real jokester. So we're going to the beach, hanging out with girlfriends and stuff, and just having a real good time. And about a month or so, maybe 2 months later, we were heading back to New York, and I found out, from talking down, right, that the film was, the character was cast. And I was like, no way, because I was working on it with my friend while we cleaned roofs, and I started to get a feel for the role. So I said, okay, let me run back over to the office. So when I ran back over to that casting office, I knocked on the door. I was like, no way, I gotta go in and get another shot at this. So he opened the door, and he looked at me like a ghost, like, oh no, this guy can't act. So I said, no, just give me one more chance, can I have another? So he kind of wanted to just get rid of me. So he let me in the room, and he was like fake cleaning and moving things around just to satisfy me, so he could get rid of me. And I guess within about 10 seconds, he knew that I was sounding pretty good. So he said, okay, hold on, sit there. And he sat down and right with me face to face. And after about 30 seconds, he said, hold on. And he picked up the phone, and he called the production office, which is about 10 blocks away. He told me, listen, go to this office, it's on 54th Street, somewhere around there in 11th Avenue, and I want you to blah, 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 blah. And basically when I got there, the guy that they had cast, they didn't have him sign yet, so they fired him. That's what I got. At the time, his name was Van Silk. He was good martial arts and everything, but it was...
Yeah, I heard other names like Samuel Jackson.
There was all those guys from back then. They were even older than me, go for the roles. But yeah, it wasn't made for them. That's
Nice. I got another point. You talked about the martial arts. Did you practice with it or had some experience with it? What are your thoughts on like the Filipino martial arts?
Yeah, every martial arts has its place, They're all
Any experience with
comedy? Yeah, sure. It's happening.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. We got it for a few more minutes, so please, if you got more questions, ask them.
Weird question, as a Taekwondo person. When you
He used to compete. Taekwondo.
when you first saw Capoeira, what was your thoughts on that particular martial arts versus training that you
Loved it.
was there ever like let me ask, what age did you see it? Because I know what happened.
Well, when I was training, I'll be in my 20s, and some of the guys that I knew, a couple of them go and train with this guy.
Was there ever a desire to like, oh, that's just
Yeah, but what happened was I was doing karate and kickboxing at the time, and you can't do this. Because you go out, they might kick you in the head. Yeah, it's different. It's made really for guys that are doing combat, that are extremely athletic. They could be very dangerous, but yeah.
It's a pretty martial art. Like, it looks good on film.
Yeah. One guy did in the UFC that pretty incredible was Pereira. Yeah, the Brazilian guy. He was amazing. he would do a backflip off the fence.
Yeah.
He was out of his mind, but he was great.
If you could change anything about the last track and behind the scenes or what actually made it to the film, what would you change?
It's a hypothetical. Well, you know, Hollywood and the sharks that come in that place, you get some real bad, some producers just out there that just, you know, they're not all, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but there's a lot of ones that are just using you, they use you, and that's it, you know. It happens in many different places, but wherever there's a lot of money, that you're going to get some characters that are just like that. They want to keep all the money for themselves, and you know, you're lucky you're around, you know, and that's kind of the thing I would change the most, because they benefit from your years that later. You know, the Blu-ray, you know, that, DVD, they make millions of dollars every year. You know.
One more question. What is a memorable moment of doing the Janet Jackson video?
Oh, that was a lot. Now there was some funny stuff that was interesting. Yeah, I want to talk to you. The good thing it was that people liked it. You know, it was like, because at the time she was the biggest pop star around Madonna. So it was something that was chosen for it. So I was very happy, and it came out really nice. And you know, good message, young girls. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
How was it like working with Vanity? Like when you seen her, were you like, oh my God, like she's real pretty, and like your friend that you were with when you went to New York or Miami, was he like, bro, like how lucky you gotta be to be around Vanity?
Miami?
The friend, Florida.
Huh?
The friend that you were with.
Oh, my friend.
Yeah, was he like, bro? Like, can I meet Vanity too, or like with your friends?
There's only one guy that's not like, oh wow. Oh, can I take your bags? No, that was the problem though. That was the problem, because here it is, you're on a set, and they're like 80% guys, and they're like, oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. You should tell the joke. It was corny. You're like, dude. So she, she was great. She was great. She was, yeah, you know, it's like very sweet, because my dream would be to be able to have them up here. You know, yeah, that would be, you know, but yeah, it's life. It's life.
I'm very much a huge fan of you.
Thank you.
Same with my brother.
Yeah.
The only question I have is that, do you have any injuries while experiencing well, I'm sorry. Do you have any injuries while performing Kung Fu on camera? And if so, did it delay any schedules of filming?
I had a shoulder injury. It didn't delay. You know, we had some good stunt guys, like, you know, stuff, crazy stuff. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was mostly after. You know, it was mostly after the film. You know, there were like the injuries that I had dealt with in the past 10 years. It was spinal, and I didn't know a lot about how the body responds when it's injured. Basically, when you start feeling the spine is the circuit breaker for everything, right? So the vertebrae are designed to protect the spinal cord, and when you get subluxation or hernia, you can heal from them. It's just that you have to address it pretty quickly. You can't wait months or years, because then they exacerbate, you know. So you don't want to and that's what I was doing. I was training too much, and I was training too much on these injuries, and then it became really bad. So it's taken me many years to discover how to heal. But basically, you address them, and you know, usually with a massage, some strengthening and chiropractic or acupuncture to bring some relief from that area and bring the vertebrae back into alignment. You know, and you know, things like sitting too long, too much, not decompressing the spine. Decompressing the spine is if you gently push your hips down, act as if there's like two towers pulling you up. It's good if you're sitting to do that like every once in a while to decompress, right? You can feel yourself, you know. If it's always like this, you know, you're sitting like this, it's not good for you. You know, your neck is supposed to have a curve in it, the upper back like this, and down low like that. You know? So you want to decompress. Yeah, I went through a lot here, so I want everybody to know a little more about. That's one of the things I want to get out there is that because that's not out there in conversation a lot. You know, decompressing is fine, and knowing the posture and everything about it is saving you from dealing with those issues.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, guys, everybody give him a round of applause. What we always do.